Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob, how's it going?
We got Matt, and then we also have Megan way down there as well. And all four of us are on the QST 100. We're in a lovely snowy cycle here in northern Vermont, so I thought it was kind of the perfect time to do an on-snow review. Before we get to that, both of you have been skiing it, well, quite a bit in the past week, at least 2 or 3 days.
Whenever possible, really.
Yeah.
You know, that's been the case.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because in that first video that we did, I talked about how they made a ski for each of us, thinking that the 100 would kind of fall to me as working really well, but it sounds like it's working great for both of you as well. Yeah, and it's pretty funny because we had a friend of ours who skis up at Jay comment and be like, how is it on, you know, softer groomers? And I responded, I'm like, well, fortunately we've had a lot of that here lately, and just these kind of smaller snowfalls that we're dealing with, and that's just been a perfect combination of being able to mix, you know, carving clean turns with good energy on soft groomers, and then having days like this and mixing it up in the woods where I think these skis really shine. In the office yesterday, talking to Josh, you said something like, compared to the QST 98, if the maneuverability and or wiggle factor, or whatever term you used, if that went down 2%, yeah, the ability to carve on a groomer and just like overall performance went up 20%. Yeah, that's accurate. I think those are the numbers I use, and I'll stand by that. You're standing by that statement? Yep, totally scientific data. And you've been, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been exclusively skiing the 180. Incorrect. I started on the 188 and have you know, a day or two on those, and then the past 4 or 5 days on the 180. Recently on the 180. Recently exclusively. Yep. Now Matt, what about you?
So I went in the opposite order, started on the 180, and then now have been spending more time on the 188. And you know, I'm in a conundrum yet again because both of them are so good. Like I was talking about, where when I was follow camming, doing an intro for the overview video, I was on the 180, following you guys down Nosedive, and in a carving format, the 180 felt great. Like no lack of stability, no lack of edge grip. But then when I went to the 188, those feelings and those characteristics just got even more prominent. Stability went up, edge hold went up, energy went up, but the maneuverability stayed almost the same, at least in my experience. Yeah. And I have a pair of QST 98s. Yep. And this is definitely an improvement. Yeah, just kind of across the board. Across the board. That's how I feel. And I think that these are going to be one of the most versatile skis for 2026. Oh, that's a bold statement. Wow. Yeah. I'm putting it out there. You know, you could put a shift on it, you could put an alpine binding on it, you could put a tech binding on it, and have an amazing time. Pretty much all snow conditions except our blue ice. I think that people are really going to enjoy this thing. Yeah, I do recall you pointing out that you found a limitation for like firm snow conditions. Yeah, and that was pure ice, and that's when they started to chat a little bit, and that's to be expected. There's no metal in this thing. But yeah, and that's like, people have been asking where the difference is between this and stance, you know, as we talk about how the carving performance is better, and that to me is where the difference is on that true firm conditions and steep terrain. Yeah. So I thought what we would do here is, since we're all on 100s, we're each going to pick a run. You will be the focus of said run, although others will get filmed as well. And then we'll kind of just recap each run, and we'll see what happens. The snow looks great. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have trouble finding good skiing today. Bob, do you want to go first? Okay. What's your trail pick? I think you know what it's gonna be already, but is it Nosedive to Perry Merrill? It's no. Oh. Is it grill? Is it bypass to grill to Midway? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's a great start. Okay, so we're gonna go skiing, and then we'll talk to you in a little bit. This looks nice. Lovely. heavy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Bob, first I gotta say, great trail choice.
I mean, it's just like, that's the adventurous part of this place and why I really enjoy skiing here.
This mountain? Yeah.
So many fun things to connect, and you get such a long run out of it.
Yeah,
so
it was
it's
a long run.
Yeah, that's a good one, and I do that a lot, as you know.
Yep. Now, considering that's, like, is it safe to say that's, like, maybe your favorite way down the mountain?
Yeah, I mean, that's not even...
It's not even close. That's your favorite way down the mountain?
Yeah.
So how does QST 100 compare to all the other skis that you've done that run with?
Yeah, it's right up there. You know, it's really hard to supplant a QST 98 in the trees around here, especially when you have, I don't know, what, 4 or 5 inches of new snow on the ground?
Yep.
You know, because that ski just floats so well and is so mobile, so for stuff like that it's hard to supplant. But this one, it is so close. Like, I think if I said 2%, I might move it up to 1%.
Yeah, for just like the quickness in the trees.
Yeah. But then you pop out on the trail and this thing just lights it up.
Well,
like,
and
it's just the biggest difference that I noticed.
So I was following you that whole run, and something that I was thinking about is I do think this floats better than 98.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I think at speed, I think there's velocity in play where this has a better high speed flotation than the QST, which is a little bit more moderate.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Any other profound thoughts from that run?
I suppose on these lower sections where it's cut up and kind of more crud oriented, I'd take the extra 8 centimeters.
The 188?
I'd take the 188.
Yeah.
That's open terrain, opening it up. But anything other than that, and it's a...
And what about
180.
What about like float in the trees? Do you find any limitation of 180?
No.
For a person your size?
Maybe a little bit of a forward movement if I was not on balance, but
overall
no
pretty good.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get back too. Like the rocker profile on these skis is really amenable to correcting mistakes should there be any.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge plus, is that it's not a flat tail. Like, it is very much helping you kind of move through the snow.
Yeah, and like it really all comes into play too when you're skiing on a day like this with conditions like this. Like, you know, we're not reaching crazy high edge angles where when you do on this ski now, it kind of lengthens the effective edge. So yeah, I agree 100%. Like, it's still pretty wiggly when you're riding that flat base.
Yeah, no, it's a top ski for sure.
Matt, I didn't film you, but how did that go? I guess I filmed you a little bit.
It was great, and kind of piggybacking off of what you guys were talking about, when you're going from being in the woods to being on trail and this cut up stuff, I think that where the QST 100 separates itself from something like the new Bent 100 is that this is a little bit more stable and composed in those scenarios. Sometimes the Bent 100, even with the new construction,
it's heavier too.
It can get a bit deflected, whereas this, it wants to go through or stay on top a little bit easier. More, I guess.
And I've seen ever since like the announcement was made about QSTs, I've seen a handful of comments of people saying something like, I hope they made it lighter. And like, to me, that's not really what QST is all about.
No.
Like, they kind of they don't want it to be endlessly light, because part of that stoutness is important to the ski, I think.
Totally. 100%. But yeah, in the trees, I mean, even in this 188, 0 issues whatsoever. I compared to my QST 98, I do find that this broader tip shape does have a little bit more float, at least for me. But,
I feel that way too. Like
I might be wrong, but it seems like this tip shape was kind of inspired by the blank, in a sense.
I mean, it's definitely closer than the 98 was, for sure.
Right. So
I don't think, like, I don't know that it's fair to say inspired by, because I do think they've all been like reworked.
yeah,
So it's more like kind of a whole new thing.
it's reminiscent.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Whose run choice is it?
Matt,
I'll go.
Matt's run choice?
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
S53, so upper lift line to S53
Yep.
to Starwoods.
Yep.
And then after that, cut over the lift line, do the jump again,
Okay.
and to the lift.
good run.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Bob, you want to film?
I'll give it my best.
Okay.
All right, Matt, that was a lot of turns. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty, it was a difficult follow, but it was a good follow. You know, anytime that you're getting fresh snow behind someone, I think is a good time.
I was two back.
And you were still
fresh
getting it?
snow,
Yeah, really good conditions today. And like, what stood out to me is watching the move of shifting from one turn to the next with like quickness and purpose. You know, there's no like big dramatic moves. It's a very smooth looking turn, and that's how I feel, and I'm sure that you know, our colleagues will agree. But what's your assessment of that versus kind of a harder turn or just a lighter ski that might not be as smooth?
Well, like these are, you don't have to think about doing those types of moves. They'll just do it for you in a sense, where
Yeah.
you initiate it and then they'll do the rest of the work. The rocker profile on the tail makes it so that there's not as much effort as with something else with less tail rocker, or maybe something with a little bit less taper in the tail. But in some of those situations where you kind of just have to go for it and go straight and then put it sideways, I'm thankful that they made it a little bit more sturdy for that, just to add some stability. And then when you put it sideways, you can trust it. And the turn initiation too, I think that, like what you were talking about, the beginning stages of that is also at the turn initiation. And this shape just really lends it to be very easy to just put your tips where they need to be, and then the ski will almost finish the turn for you. This is perfect QST snow conditions and terrain. So I'm not surprised that they were very much at home.
Yeah, you can like really trust it.
Yeah.
Like stay forward and stuff like that, which is like, it's like counterintuitive for me.
Right.
Like,
I mean, a lot of
are to like sit back and like kind of squat a little bit, but like you're saying, like, yeah, you can like stay really engaged and just trust this like shape in the forebody. There was like, because I was playing around with that on that run, and there were like two turns that were pretty deep, and I like got thrown forward a tiny bit, and I like, so it was twice that I was like 188 would be cool,
right?
But like that doesn't make sense for me.
No, I mean, you got to play the percentages with stuff like that. Like how many times are you out here and it's choppy 6 inches of snow? Like, it happens, but it's not the majority of the time,
right? You
know, you really got to kind of play the odds, I think, when you're in between lengths. And but yeah, totally. I think that we're talking about a natural feeling to the ski and just a really kind of innate process to making a turn, and stuff like this, and in trees like that, this is an exceptional shape. And it's also funny because like those trees, and what I did too, like they're some of the more open trees that we have here at Stowe.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because they are quite tight. You know, you gotta you really gotta look ahead and know what you're doing
compared to most things.
Yeah.
But going back to what Jeff was saying, where like usually in those situations you kind of want to squat and kind of ride the tails. These can do that too, just fine. So they have a very wide sweet spot for a wide range of skier types and skier style. So they're very accommodating to those types of things, which I think is great. I mean, that's the point of a 100 underfoot all mountain twin tip.
Yeah, you were skiing backwards too. I'd imagine we'll see Jeff skiing backwards a little bit as well, although I don't want to spoil the surprise, but
I still don't know. I still don't know where I'm going.
Oh wow! Oh, you have like 3 minutes to decide,
Well,
unless we want to do a Megan run.
Well, I kind of think I can get to Gondolier before the gondola opens.
All right.
So I kind of want to do that.
I don't blame you.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna go do that and get back to see what Jeff thinks about these skis over in the gondola zone.
You want to do it?
Yeah,
You don't have to come with me if you don't want.
we'll try.
Yes.
You all right?
There's still a lot of stuff to hit. I hit all those branches.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, a little trouble in the couloir there, but I don't attribute that to be the skis' fault.
I don't think people like it when we call that the couloir.
It's definitely a cool war.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just got a little snagged by some branches or underbrush or something. I probably could have skied out of it, but there was a tree right there, and there was also a tree on the ground. And once upon a time I hit a tree and it broke my femur, so I don't like the idea of hitting trees. Granted, that wasn't on a trail like that. It was on crossover right there. Also, speaking of me hitting a tree and breaking my femur, has anyone noticed that the tree has been cut down and is laying in the ditch?
It's still there to claim a victim.
Yeah.
No, like, it's like, it is the victim now.
Oh.
So, like, I feel like I won.
Well, it had it coming, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, that was fun. Nosedive was sweet. I just like skiing the S-turns. Like, you know, we did bypass earlier, which is a fun trail, but the S-turns are just so classic, kind of cutting the corners, and this ski does it really well. Like those kind of big slashy turns, like you have to make one kind of on the second corner that you cut, like kind of up. It's like double fall line, sort of, like your tails are like above you, sort of.
It was firm there.
Yeah, but like this ski, like even it doesn't really matter what the snow conditions are, you can throw it sideways really easily, but it stays composed, kind of like you were saying about like a lighter ski. I think you used the bent 100 as an example.
Yep.
The comparison that I would make would be Playmaker 101, just because I ski it a lot and I ski it very similarly. But in that situation, had I done that on a Playmaker, it would have been like the skis would have been kind of going in different directions for a second, and like you really have to like control them, where these just stay so true and track really well. And then, yeah, Gondolier wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. Sometimes that left is just like blower powder. It had been skied quite a bit, and there was a little bit of skier traffic that was a bit challenging to navigate. Just wasn't quite sure what turn she was gonna make in that one spot, and she made the one turn that I didn't think she was gonna make.
Yep, I saw that. You were really looking for the 180 there.
I was looking for something.
Yeah.
we were looking for something right there. But I don't know. I if I had to describe my own skiing, I kind of just like to be in the air as much as possible, like always looking for something to jump off of and pop off of and play. And there was that little spine section that was really fun, and like the first one I went way bigger than I thought and landed like into a mogul, and the ski like supported that. And I feel like it is, you know, it's the type of ski that encourages that style of skiing.
Right.
Like it's been really fun on all our groomer experiences on these, just being like, whoa, they like rip carving turns now. But really, like, that jumping around on a little spine feels like the true nature of a QST 100, and like the other stuff is just like bonus.
So one thing that we haven't really talked about today, that I think that run was pretty applicable with the firm snow underneath with some kind of crunchy ice cubes.
It was weird
type stuff.
Yeah, you probably can't tell in the footage, but you're like, it like wasn't smooth the second half of that.
What can you tell me about the dampness that you feel with this?
It's quite good.
Right.
Did you see that clip from the factory where I'm flopping around the cork thing?
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, it's pretty wild. But
Very effective.
There's just like a really thick, big piece of like cork. I think it's cork and TPU. And like, yeah, I mean, it's not, so this always happens. Like, people will watch footage of this and you'll see the tips moving and people will be like, that's chattering. And to me, it's not. And we've had the same conversation before. Like, if you have a rockered ski, there's going to be some amount of tip movement. I don't feel like it chatters. It just kind of flops.
It's suspension on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
It's a front fork doing its job.
So it's like kind of by design.
Right.
And then like it just irks me when people watch the footage and they're like, nope, I see the tip moving. That's chattering. It's not working correctly. And I'm like, no, that's literally what it's designed to do.
Right. Like, imagine riding a rigid bike down a technical section.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't see the bike moving.
Right.
Right.
No, you'd see the rider moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what you're seeing, the ski vibrating is taking it out of the skier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't transfer down to your boot. It'll stay isolated in the tips, that movement. It doesn't
exactly.
transfer to the boot.
You don't feel it at all.
No.
And like, you shouldn't be looking at your tips anyways.
Right.
I
So-
do.
I do sometimes.
Is that a bum skier thing?
When I'm about to stuff it into the tip. I'll take this.
Okay.
Megan, are you ready for a run?
Yeah, do it.
It sounds like you've chosen Hayride.
Yeah, Hayride all the way.
If people don't know Megan, I don't know. I mean, she's in a lot of our stuff. Doesn't really talk in a lot of our stuff. Full disclosure, Megan does not work for us. She just happens to be my lovely wife, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna follow Megan. I'm gonna try and count how many turns you make.
I'm trying to make fewer turns, Jeff.
I'm still gonna count.
Yeah.
Bob, you wanna help?
Yeah, I'm a good turn counter.
All right. All right, so we're gonna go ski hayride and then we'll talk to you in a little bit. Megan, I lost count of your turns around 100, but you made a lot. I'm gonna estimate around 150, and you skied pretty darn fast. You're on the 172.
Yep.
About a month ago, you skied the QST 94. Are you feeling differences between them?
You know, we talked about in the trees, maybe I noticed that it could be the length. Could be ski fitness too. Just felt more fatigued, but it was humbling in the woods on these skis for me.
Yep.
I couldn't.
That's not surprising.
Okay.
It's a lot of ski.
Yeah.
172 and 100 underfoot and like big tips and tails.
Yep.
It is a lot of ski for somebody who's 5 feet tall, 120.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I did
Almost 5'1".
I did just publicly announce your height and weight.
I'm almost
but,
5'1".
Now, you looked great coming down Hayride in more open terrain.
Yeah, and that's like my favorite trail. But also, to what you and Matt and Bob were talking about earlier with the ski chattering and chundering, that was like the perfect trail and conditions to rule that out, because there was soft stuff and firm stuff, and I could carve through it and it was just easy to absorb, and I didn't feel like the ski was planky, or like I stayed in control.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, you have a race background. You've raced on that trail quite a bit. I think it's fair and accurate to say that you're still like kind of new to skis like this.
Totally.
Like I remember when you first skied the Armada ARVs or ARWs, you were like pretty blown away. Similar experience on these?
Yeah, and also what you were saying before, I think it was you, Ty. They're playful. I don't love to get jump. I'm not really allowed to get jumps anymore, but like they just make you want to find little fun lips, and just carving is less interesting. These are more playful.
Yeah.
And they make you want to like find the fun stuff and be a little silly.
No, I agree. They make the whole skiing experience like a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
And they encourage it.
Yep.
How did you guys do? I didn't film you, Bobby. You're mostly just counting with me.
Yeah, I was counting, but it was really fun because I was kind of just standing and doing 40-meter radius turns.
Just big slarves.
And not even like putting too much effort into it.
Yeah.
And the snow is great. I mean, it's really nice, bouncy snow.
Yeah.
And these, even in the 180s, just kind of motored right through it.
Yeah.
No issues.
So we've each chosen a run. I don't think we have time for like 4 more runs.
Darn.
So what do we do in our remaining runs here? I personally would love to ski hayride with
I'm with that.
with somebody else filming.
Yeah. And that right side after waterfall is really fun.
Yeah.
You didn't, I don't think you got there, but that was really good.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
So you want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that.
I have one more quick thought. Sorry, I didn't say it before, but that run on Hayride, I was trying to suss out the taper shape a little bit more.
Yep.
And I think that they absolutely nailed it because it wants to hook just enough, but it also lets you do those kind of carves that, or turns that Bob was talking about where you just let it run.
Yeah, I was not carving. I was
Right.
standing
just
and
surfing.
Yeah.
But they don't feel overly hooky, but they do want to pull you ever so slightly. It's just the right amount. It's like the Goldilocks amount.
Well, like,
pull.
and shape is so important for a ski like this.
Yeah.
Because the build is not complicated. You know, like the cork stuff is cool, the basalt is cool, but it's not like, it's not a wildly over-engineered ski.
No.
So just nailing the shape is like really important.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep skiing, and then we'll at least talk to you one more time, maybe 2 more times. Like, I'll ski this, and then you can switch to Bob after a few turns.
Okay.
To elaborate, especially like where the light is flat up there, you can't really see what's coming, and the snow is kind of heavy. They just handle it really well.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
He's gonna switch to you after a little bit, Bob. Oh, you got a lot of snow on the lens there. I wonder when that happened.
Oops.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Megan.
Ready.
Okay, my legs are tired.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good sign and just a good end to this kind of love fest for this QST 100. I mean,
It's just so fun.
it's sunshine and rainbows. It really is.
Yeah. So we just did a couple bonus runs. And yeah, same thing. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I know I've said this about other skis too, but it's not a superlative ski, right?
No, but everything that it does, it's just like one little level above.
Yeah.
And it does that which is asked, which I think is like a really important thing for a ski.
Yeah.
Is whatever you tell it to do,
Yeah.
it does it. Like no complaints.
Yeah. I know. I mean, if you want to like pinpoint a highlight of it,
Yeah.
it's that.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know, kind of feels like a cop out when assessing skis. Is just like it's good at everything.
Right.
But it truly is.
Yeah.
And it's not like, yeah, I can't think of a single individual criteria that it's the best ski.
Right.
But those are often kind of the best skis, you know?
And personally, that's what I like to ski.
Yeah.
You know, because we do, like, I think today was a good example of like mixing it up.
Yeah.
You know, you go in the woods, you hit a trail, you get in some crud.
Exactly.
Like, you have some fun going off jumps. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like that which is asked, the ski does.
Yeah. Matt, any closing thoughts?
Well, I was following you guys on that run.
Yeah.
And we were just bopping and weaving. I felt like we were like that shot of the 3 F-18s in Top Gun Maverick, just like following each other, just launching off of things, just bopping back and forth. And that's exactly what the ski, I think, is intended to do. Like
Why do we make so many fighter jet references?
I don't know, because skis are like wings, and so
Yeah,
you
they
gotta
make- think
think of
sure.
it like flight.
They allow
that's
you to
kind of
fly.
The idea.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it is like that little spine thing
Yeah.
over there. Like all I wanted to do is like jump over there and jump over there and jump
Yeah.
over there.
right. And like, we pretty much encountered most snow conditions in that one run.
Yeah,
And it
right.
was perfect for all of that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like I needed to switch up my skiing style, switch up my body position too much. Like, it just, as Bob said, ask it to do something, it'll be more than happy to do so.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like a one ski quiver ski for a lot of people, I think.
yeah. We've often talked about how ski performance is subjective.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. Like it is. Like I like skis that you don't like, and vice versa. This is an objectively good ski.
Yeah, it's gonna have pretty universal appeal once more people get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've already heard that. Like
Yeah.
I've just like heard chatter of people who have skied them.
Yeah.
And then like their friends ski them, and then they're like, I told you so. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done, Solomon. Let us know if you have any questions, and definitely later in the season we'll do the same thing with the 94 and the 106. Obviously those aren't available yet. This one is. And then I mean, if it keeps snowing like this, we'll try and do it with blanks. We don't
Sure.
have a bunch of blanks, but
I'm happy to do this anytime.
Yeah.
perfect. All right. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions, and talk to you later.
Bye.
You want to film me?